outside of Cleveland, Ohio, thinking nothing was possible. If I had listened to what you told me, I would have been sitting on my couch watching Ron Simmons in 1992 beat Vader for the World Heavyweight Championship. Changing the game for everybody that looked like me. And I'd listened to what you told me. I would have left Ring of Honor when everybody told me that I should have. If I had listened to what you told me, that nobody like me was ever going to be in this position, that nobody who says the things that I say, nobody that carries himself the way that I do was ever supposed to challenge or win the Ring of Honor World Championship. I would have never tried. Yet here we are. Voted by the fans, overwhelmingly by the people. Shane Taylor challenges Roosh for the Ring of Honor World Championship. What better place than here? What better time than now?
You come here to hurt me, and I come here to maim you.
That's what I've heard for 7 years. I hurt you. I hurt you.
You might as well go ahead and admit it. You might as well own up to the philosophy for some of you, and that is that life sucks, and then you die.
Doubt you've ever been in a real street fight. By the looks of that pretty face, I don't think you've ever taken a punch before in your life.
Now it's eye for an eye. Now it's you take one of mine and I take 2 of yours.
You're there. Sitting at home. Acknowledge me.
It's Tuesday Wrestling Tuesday with Jonathan Hood. WWE, AEW, MLW, NWA, New Japan, the Indies, and more. It's the Tuesday Wrestling Tuesday show with Jonathan Hood.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into Tuesday Wrestling Tuesday. Jonathan Hood with you. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling TWT. That's Wrestling TWT. Check out the archives of Tuesday Wrestling Tuesday. Interviews you would have missed. It's right there in the archives of TWT. Shane Taylor, the CEO of Shane Taylor Promotions, joins me here on Tuesday Wrestling Tuesday. He wrestled at Ring of Honor for a long time, but Ring of Honor is changing for 2022. So we'll ask you about Shane Taylor. He's been on the program before, and it's going to be great to have him again to talk about his future and the future of his faction, Shane Taylor Promotions. Shane Taylor on Tuesday Wrestling Tuesday.
Shane, Jonathan Hood, thanks so much for your time.
Of course, boss. Anytime. You already know.
Man, listen, how's life for you right now?
Life is exciting. Anytime you have a major sort of upheaval in the world of professional wrestling, there's always going to be this exciting, unsure time. And in moments like those, I feel as though my life so far has prepared me for these things. So I'm excited. I'm excited about new opportunities. I'm excited about opening new chapters, closing chapters, and really looking forward to what's on the horizon.
I already started off with a bad question because if you're the best of all time, of course life is great for you. And I should be calling you champ. I apologize, sir, because you are the champ. You were in Dallas. You won the VIP championship in Dallas. Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you very much. I'm one of now only, I believe, 2 people to ever win that championship twice. The other being Keith Lee. Mm-hmm. There may be one more, but I'm not sure at this time. Yeah, so, I mean, in there with a guy like JTG, worldwide star, international star, one of the very best to go out there, square up, go toe-to-toe, and come out with my hand raised and get back on my throne is something that was very important to me, and is a good first step to getting back to where I was, and that's dominating not only Texas, but dominating every single company and leading the companies that I'm in.
I mean, JTG is very good. There's no question. I like the renaissance in his career, but he's not the baddest of all time, though. I mean, there's a difference, right?
I mean, of course there is. and this is why, when people ask me about that moniker, why I chose it.
Yeah.
They're like, well, wouldn't you want to be the best of all? And I go, no, because being the best is subjective.
Yes.
Right? Being the best limits that to perception and what people's preferences are. Right?
Right.
But what can't be, what's not a preference, what's not up to someone's opinion is will. Right?
Yes.
Being the first one there, being the last one to leave, the work you put in, the willingness to stand your ground and fight for the things that you believe in, willing to put it all on the line, no matter the backlash, not just sitting back and being a good little company boy because you know it's safe, pushing the envelope and doing so because you genuinely want to see things be better and you want those voices to be heard. That is something that can't be left up to opinion or perception. I am the one that is willing to do that, willing to risk it all to make sure that that those things are done, that those voices are heard, that we improve not only the companies that I'm in, but the sport overall. So there's a difference between the best and being the baddest. And to me, that's what that signifies.
So I saw the news, like all of us wrestling fans that watch ROH, how ROH now is going to be reimagining the product. I want to get your initial reaction to that news. How did you find out about this changing in philosophy for Ring of Honor's future?
They had a Zoom call with all the talent in which they let everybody know what was going on. And then subsequent reports come out saying, that this is what they're trying to reimagine it as. And it's really kind of a wait and see thing. Like we'll see what that vision is. We'll see what they want to do. We'll see how they decide to bring it back. And that's going to be something that no one's going to be able to judge until they do it, right? Because then you'll have to see what the look is, what the feel is, what the vibe is, what the moves are going forward. So we'll see, and best of luck to them.
So, Shane, you've been all over this country wrestling. I just mentioned you just becoming, again, the VIP Dallas champion. You've been in a lot of different places because I follow you on social media. I see your clips. If there's a streaming service, I will follow you and see what you and the promotion, Shea Taylor Promotions, are doing because I'm very interested in your career. But when I think about Ring of Honor, I'll just tell you what I said on the show. I said I knew even before the pandemic there was something going on with the company in which you guys even come here. I'm in Chicago, right? And so just like Baltimore and New York, I know that's hubs for Ring of Honor. You do well there, but Chicago loves Ring of Honor. I mean, we go back to the past and talk about all the great Ring of Honor wrestlers that came through there, and Chicago was a major part of that legacy, that lineage. And when you guys weren't coming here, I said, there's a problem here. And so can you look at independent wrestling and look at Ring of Honor? Is there something that Ring of Honor can learn from other places that you've been?
I think the major thing is simply how the product's marketed and how it's given to the fans. There needs to be a major overhaul in that department. Simply relying on social media isn't going to work in today's day and age. It helps, but that can't be the be-all, end-all. It can't all be on the talent to promote the show. That's just not how it's going to work, right?
Yes.
If we were talking about football, CBS is not going to depend on the Cowboys talking about the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's CBS's job to talk about the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If the players want to tweet about it, fantastic. You know what I mean? But it shouldn't be, the ratings of the game shouldn't be dependent on Dak Prescott tweeting. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's got to be something that is looked at. You have the ability to work with independent promotions in the area. and partner with them to help them flyer the town, to help them promote. There's ways that I'm sure there are affiliates like yourself that you can go to a few days out and bring the talent there to help promote the show like you would any concert or any comedy show. You know what I mean? You're out there 2-3 days ahead of time. Hey, don't forget this Friday. Hey, don't forget this Saturday. We've got so-and-so here. Ring of Honor is here this weekend. Like, there's things that can be done to make sure people know that the product is there or that the product is coming and that they want to see it. So I think in order for them to be successful in this relaunch and this reimagining, they are going to have to take those steps in marketing the way that wrestling should be marketed.
You know what? That's I like the Cowboys NFL parallel because that is all true, right? So if it wasn't for social media, honestly, there's because we don't get ROH as we don't have a Sinclair local channel in Chicago. But I can get it in Milwaukee, I can get it in Grand Rapids, I can get it in other places in the Midwest. I don't get it here. But if it wasn't for the promos, and if it wasn't for what's on social media, I wouldn't know about the events. And that says a lot for the company. So hopefully in 2022, as they say they're going to reimagine it during WrestleMania weekend and see what happens moving forward, Shane, it's important for them to. There is a need for a third or fourth company to be able to pick up the slack here, and I think you laid out a perfect plan.
Yeah, I mean, anytime the sport has, the more companies the sport has, the more jobs it has, the better it is for all involved, for the fans, for the talent, for management. So, I fully hope that however they reimagine this, it is put together with the emphasis on making sure it is marketed in a way that the most fans can get eyes on it. Because I'll say it again, I believe over the last 2 years, Ring of Honor not only has the best roster, but it's been putting on the best wrestling shows of any company in the world. So you have had, or however you want to see it, have all the talent necessary. Mm-hmm. It's literally now putting that talent in position to be successful. You see what I'm saying? Yes. You could literally have, if we can go back to the football thing, you could have Hall of Famers at every position, offense and defense. Without the game plan, and without the coaching, without the strategy, you're going to lose games. Talent can only do so much.
Have you voiced that? Have you told people have you told the powers that be this?
It has been discussed on multiple occasions.
Okay.
Trust me.
All right.
That's been a thing. There's been meetings. There's been all kind of things. But as in most things in life, there's all kind of red tape. There's all kind of things that happen behind the scenes that, you either stop those things from happening or what have you. But if we're talking about moving forward and what can be done to make sure things are successful moving forward, these are the things that need to be done.
So Shane, you've seen this on social media, I'm sure, and I think you know this in your heart about how strong your faction is. And there's always comparisons because, the business has always been built on factions. Some manager building an army or some kind of faction. But Shane Taylor Promotions is very unique in the marketplace. The O'Shea's, the Rev Rons, the Khans, the Prolific Moses. What makes Shane Taylor Promotions different than the other factions in wrestling?
I think, again, it goes back to Will and our understanding about what we want to change in this sport. Our ability to not just be performers, but to be more than athletes, right? To be not only professional wrestlers, but to be those voices, not necessarily like activists, but advocates for the change that we want to see. And we understand that that's going to start with us. So we're going to talk about social issues. We're going to talk about things that most wrestlers, most athletes are going to stay away from because of the potential backlash, right? But this is what we believe. This is who we are. No one is going to tell us to shut up and wrestle. No one is going to tell us well, you'll have more opportunities if you just close your mouth and be good little boys. That's not who we are. We're grown-ass men. You know what I mean? You're not going to tell us what to say. You're not going to tell us what not to say. We're smart enough to know, what lines not to cross, because the goal is not to alienate. The goal is to educate and bring everyone together. But you can't really come together if you're diminishing yourself to make other people comfortable, right? Then you're not bringing everyone together. You're just allowing yourself to be put in a box that they're comfortable seeing you. And that's not the goal. The goal is for you to understand who we are, accept who we are, and be able to relate to us in your own way. But still very much, we understand who we are. We understand who we represent. We understand the fight in front of us, and we understand who's watching. And that, to us, more than anything, is what's important, is continuing to be those examples. Now, are we perfect individuals? No, of course not. We all have vices. We're all human, right? But the goal is to be able to have all kids, or all people, but especially black kids and especially black people, to be able to turn on their TV screens, see us, and go, yes, finally. You know what I mean? Finally, we have people who know what it is that we've been asking for, who know what it is that we've been talking about, and are able to present something outside of either angry black man or docile house cat or singer, dancer, rapper, etc. They can give us the athletes that we've been asking to see, the leaders we've been asking to see, and doing so in a way that says we're not going to apologize for being who we are.
How much does it resonate with you that so many black wrestlers from the past have paved the way to this point? What you're doing at Ring of Honor and across the country, that doesn't work in Texas in the 70s and 80s. Iceman Parsons, there's more Coco Beware, more Rufus R. Jones in Kansas City. I mean, the history of this. I mean, how much does that matter to you that wrestlers in the past, where it's only one wrestler per territory, one black wrestler per territory, where black wrestlers were an attraction like women or little people, versus where we are now in 2021? How much does that matter to you?
It's everything to me, because I feel as though we're carrying that legacy, we're carrying that torch, and we're kicking down as many doors as possible for the generations after us to come through and continue to carry it even further. The conversations that I've had with some of those legends, where they pulled me aside and go, thank you for doing what you do, thank you for having the group that you have, thank you for taking the stance that you do, because just like you said, back then, there was only one of us that was allowed to be there. There was only one of us that could, say anything, do anything. There was a ceiling on where we could be. You could have other people, act like us, walk like us, talk like us, and make millions, but somehow that was seen as a negative when we were ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. And fans, I've had fans who were my dad's age, who, my grandparents' age, come up to me and go, you guys are what we wanted to see then. So the fact that we can be that now, to me means the world. It means the world to my guys. And it's something that we take a lot of pride in and we take very seriously. And we always have that at the forethought, of our minds is to continue to be that.
Yeah, Shane, it is the in-ring ability, but also it's the power of the promo as well. You'd be very hard pressed to find anyone that does a promo as well as you do. I just saw the latest video and it was just amazing. Where did you pick up the spoken word in wrestling parlance? How did you get it to the point where you say, you know what, this promo, what I'm saying is pretty good. It's actually going to resonate with the audience. Is there a point in time that you remember when it's like, yeah, you know what, I could do this?
it's funny because, like, for people that know me, this is not surprising, and I'm sure if they listen to this, they'll hear it as I talk. I actually have a stutter, right?
Sure.
So, for a very long time, I was nervous about speaking because of that, right? But years of, again, just growing up, Eastside Cleveland, you got to learn to talk trash, you know, and then be very vocal. But for whatever reason, I think it's kind of like when you listen or rap a song, right? There's a part of my brain that switches. And when I cut promos, that's not there. I don't have it. So it allows me to say what I want to say and vocalize in a way that allows me to be more comfortable. And it's weird, right? But that's what happens. And so a lot of my promos are me taking the frustration that I feel with the sport, with given situations, and just expressing that. And taking all of those things that I want in this sport, that I see for myself, that I see for my guys, that I see other people are capable of doing but are too afraid to, speaking those and just being who it is that I am. You know, people ask, well, I had someone ask what the Shane Taylor character is, right? Which was funny, and I almost got offended because it's like, it's not a character.
Right, exactly. This is you, yes.
This has allowed me to simply just put together different pieces of my personality all in one package and put it on, and put a name to it, right? But being a huge boxing fan, as we've talked about before, I was able to sort of look at the athletes of the past and pick up different things and apply that to my personality, or rather apply my personality to that. So what Shane Taylor is a person that can talk like Floyd, hit like Tyson, and lead like Ali, right?
Sure.
To be that voice, that figure, that icon that says, okay, not only am I going to dominate my sport, but I'm going to put my culture on my back while I do it, and stand on that. So, for those that don't know, that's who he is. That's what I am. And that's what Shane Taylor Promotions is for Khan, Moses, O'Shea, Ron Hunt. Did you get that up and down the line?
In 2022, Shane, is Shane Taylor Promotions portable? Does it move? Does it move from territory to territory? What happens in 2022? Because it's that, yes, you are a great individual talent, but what about your group? Is it portable?
I believe it is. It's very hard as a sport or any company to move 5-6 talents at once. We understand that, right? But we also know the following that we have. We also know that in a lot of this sport, business is it's about equity, right? And what you can get on the back end, and the money that it's going to make you for your investment. And I believe the return on investment for Shane Taylor Promotions is going to be tenfold, given the right platform, given the right creative freedom, to be able to be who we need to be in this sport, especially right now, given the talent that's out there, the potential matchups, stories that could be told. There is a lot of money to be made in this investment. So we are going to be moving not only across the independents, you know what I mean, but internationally as well. And I'm firmly in the camp that someone somewhere will decide, you know what, let's take the chance, right? Let's see what these boys can do. And they are going to be very happy about that decision.
You know, it didn't slip past me. You did say internationally. So how good is your Japanese?
I'm sure it could use some work. But
yeah,
there's a lot of places that we would love to go. Japan Japan being one of them. I've never seen a faction like us in Japan in its entire history.
That's correct.
So to be able to do something like that and create history on a whole new level over there would be absolutely, great to achieve. I know there are talks about going back to the UK. I want us to be able to do, as many countries as possible, given the climate of things going on. I'm sure there's a lot of, stuff that we're going to have to go through with that, but there's no reason why you couldn't see STP in Germany, Italy, Australia. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just as many places as possible, and including right here, doing Canada, Mexico. But we want to be everywhere. We want to be on, all the major independents. There's talent all across the country that we would love to be in the ring with. So we are planning big things.
I heard that sideways shot you took at the Bullet Club. You just kind of, you did say that.
Sideways shot.
Well, you just said that there has never been a faction quite like Shane Taylor Promotion. There's been factions. Yeah. Are you saying Shane Taylor Promotions could dominate the Bullet Club or anything else in Japan? Is that what you're telling me?
I feel as though in ring or in the street, we would dominate the Bullet Club.
Well, that's true. The street for sure.
It is what it is. There's just nothing to have the talent that we have. And if we want to talk numbers, like, okay, well, they have X amount of people, right?
Yes.
You put us in a situation where you give us talent like a Will Hobbs or a Ricky Starks or a Lee Moriarty or a Darius Lockhart. You know what I mean? You give us talent like that, Fred Yehai, Keith Lee, Jay Lethal. You know what I mean? Put all of us together and match us up top to bottom with equal numbers. I'm not a betting man, but my money would be on STP damn near all day, every day. So we have the ability, we have the talent, we have every tangible thing that you could ask for to dominate any scene that we're in. So it's simply just a matter of time, a matter of money, and a matter of conviction. Someone being willing to go, you know what? Let's see if they can at least back up all the shit that they're talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, me knowing myself and my guys the way I do, we are more than ready.
Yeah, I'm sliding my debit card to you right now. Just what you just. I'm handing you money, Shane. As you just laid that out, I'm like, yes, just take all my money. Just take it. Because I think everybody would want to see that. Let me give you a couple of plugs here. You're going to be, what I see here, you're going to be at WrestleCade. Is this correct? At Winston-Salem?
Yes.
Okay, so the Showcase of Champions at WrestleCade, which is a Thanksgiving tradition in Winston-Salem, which is going to be great, November 26th. I'm glad that you're booked there. That is a Thanksgiving tradition. Wrestling and Thanksgiving work together. How's this good with you? Go with the family with this? It's going to be the day after Thanksgiving, so you're good, right?
Of course, there's always, and this is part of the job, right? This is the unfortunate side of the job where you do miss some holidays, you do miss, some things here and there. But overall, the schedule that I've been able to have for the last few years has allowed me to be home so much, and that means the world to me, to my family, to my girls. So they understand every now and again Daddy's going to have to be gone on one of these days, but for the most part, I've been able to be at just about every holiday. So that's a blessing, and because I have to miss it, that means someone's going to have to pay for that. And unfortunately, that's going to be our opponents at WrestleCade. So they're going to have to make up for the fact that, I can't be with my girls on Thanksgiving.
Okay, one other thing, and I'm going to see if I can work myself into one of your promos. Mm-hmm. So as I saw on December 11th in Baltimore, the final battle for ROH, when I saw that because I know the situation between you and Kenny King, I thought, oh my God, this is a legacy match. It's a legacy on like 5 or 6 different levels. First of all, it's a match that I didn't think that we as fans would have seen. Secondly, just like Kenny King, longtime ROH guy, you coming in, I will have you say, Jay Hood from ESPN Chicago says that this is a legacy match. And well, maybe a legacy for you, maybe not Kenny King. However, because that's how I see this. Now, knowing that you're on the other side of the ring with Kenny King, and knowing the heat that you guys have leading into this final battle, what does this mean for you on December 11th?
It's everything, and you're not wrong when you say that. This is a legacy match. I've said on more than one occasion, because of the fact that Kenny, Lethal, myself, guys like Gresham are all in the same place in the same time. When you look back at these eras, our careers are going to be compared. It's going to happen, right? The situation we have now, and this is not to exclude Jonathan Gresham, but this is simply just talking about because he's incredible. When we talk about this era of ROH, this is what you would get if you had Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron all playing at the same time. Mm-hmm. Right? So, to me, that's what Lethal is. Right? He has been the standard. He has been the only one of us who's ever been able to be Ring of Honor World Champion. He's gotten to where everybody else was trying to get to. And I was right there. I was right at the door of giving him company on that platform, right? On that level. And that was taken from me by Kenny. And it's one thing for it to be taken in general, right? But it's another thing for it to be taken from someone that was that close to you, that you trusted, right? And I don't trust a lot of people, so that really sort of sent me for a loop. But that's what this is. This is Kenny's been chasing Lethal. He's had his matches. He's been able to beat him, but he's never been able to claim that spot that Lethal has. I've been chasing both of them. I've been able to beat Kenny. I've won the championships he's won. So as far as that ladder goes, me and Kenny are eye to eye. This match at Final Battle very much determines who takes that next rung up the ladder, who takes that next step, how ultimately our legacies, our careers will be defined, and our time in Ring of Honor will be defined. That hierarchy is going to be cemented at Final Battle. My only disappointment is I didn't have more time or didn't have another opportunity to be able to take that mantle away from Jay as far as being the absolute best of this era.
So that's December 11th for Final Battle. It's going to be interesting. I think that match sells the card. I don't even know the rest of the card. I just know that match is going to take place. I think people will put a spotlight on that because it's a match that we didn't expect, and now it's happening, and they'll say a lot for Ring of Honor, not just now, but maybe for the future, for both you and Kenny, actually. The Bachelor.
I mean, yes, I think it's going to be something that is main event worthy.
Yeah.
I think it's something that when you look at the emotion that is undoubtedly going to be there on that night, that is the match that should cap it all off. But regardless of when the match is, we are going to make sure that is the match that people are talking about. That is the match that people remember. That is the match that people are going to, when they think about their last image of Ring of Honor, Kenny King and Shane Taylor will be on their mind.
Shane, last thing I have for you, and I appreciate your time. I know a number of these interviews that you've done that people ask you about representation, African Americans in wrestling, and so I think it's well established that things are getting better, and there's still a lot of room for improvement. So I won't ask you that, but I will ask you about yourself as far as the future of the business. Are you interested in being that person that is behind the scenes and booking, like Delirious and ROH and other places? And the reason why I ask is because the person that we continue to hold up is Ernie Ladd, because Ernie Ladd was a booker for Bill Watts in Mid-South, and so that was important for Bill for ready to be on the road and be able to talk to the wrestlers. I mean, so that was important. I think we look at him as, in a lot of ways, the Jackie Robinson, Larry Doby of the business in that regard. Is that something that you would want to do on a regular basis and be that point person?
It is something that I haven't really thought about, but as my career continues, we can only do this for so long. That's something that would be of interest to me. I think where I shine best is creative and promo stuff. Mm-hmm. That's just where my wheelhouse is, being able to talk to talent and see what their visions for themselves are, see it in my head, make those connections, and have them be able to bring that out in real time. Is something that I find just truly amazing. It's like working with human paintings, right? Mm-hmm. To be able to see something in your mind, make an adjustment or two, and watch that painting come to life right in front of you, right? Have that character, have that persona, have that image come right to the forefront. It's like this instant gratification. And there's just something so cool about that. But all of those things, all of the behind the scenes stuff, it interests me. And I think as far as representation goes in wrestling, that's the next step. Having the talent is fantastic. Having those talents be in main events, great. Having those talents win major championships, phenomenal. Let's continue it to behind the scenes. Let's continue it to the boardrooms. Let's continue it to the marketing meetings. Let's continue it to the merchandising meetings. Let's continue it to ownership. Let's continue it to all of these things that will help continue the success of this movement, the success of us in this sport, because it can't just be a situation where other people are going, hey, we're allowing this to happen, and the second we stop allowing it, all of this goes away, right? Mm-hmm. It needs to be a situation where it's we as a collective, this is what needs to happen, and even if other people don't want it to happen, we do. You
yes.
know what I mean?
Yes.
So it allows it to continue.
The baddest of all time, man. It is Shane Taylor, the CEO of Shane Taylor Promotions, on Tuesday Wrestling Tuesday with me, Jay Hood. Thank you so much, Shane. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you for having me, man. Anytime, brother.
Wonderful conversation with Shane Taylor, with Ring of Honor and all over the independent circuit. So his 2022 is very interesting, and he had a lot of things to say. His group, if you've not seen him, you heard the promo at the beginning of this podcast. Yeah, he's very, very good, and his group is very good. And it's one of those things where you watch Ring of Honor, you see Shane Taylor and Shane Taylor Promotions, and when they're on the screen, it's one of these things where you're watching and say, boy, I'm seeing something that's pretty real here. Their stories are pretty real. They're not trying to make you laugh. They're not playing grab ass with the audience or their opponents. They're trying to go through their opponents, go right through them. So it's very interesting to see the future for Shane Taylor and his group, Shane Taylor Promotions. Thanks so much for listening to Tuesday Wrestling Tuesday. Don't forget to tell people that Jonathan Hood's Talking Wrestling Tuesday, Wrestling Tuesday. We have so much more. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. That way you never miss an episode of this show, Tuesday Wrestling Tuesday, whether it's the ESPN Chicago app, whether it's on Apple, SoundCloud, wherever you get this. Thanks so much for your support as always. Talk to you next time on TWT.